Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to another one of these weekly live podcasts here at Scarfy Spurs Talk. Today, I'm joined by a fantastic panel, and it's going to be a good one. Firstly, welcome on the show, the wonderful James Black, known as the voice of Spurs. James, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. It's absolutely great to have you on. Yeah, really looking forward to talking to you about Tottenham and also some of your amazing music as well, which we'll get onto later on in the show. Chris, welcome back. You were on last week. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Thanks for having me on again. Looking
No
forward
worries.
to Premier League coming back.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know about you, but the international break is more bearable when we're top of the league. I absolutely hate it, and I hate missing watching Spurs. At least we're top of the league. 2 weeks bragging rights, right? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, all good. And Travis as well. Welcome back on the show. How are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely buzzing, mate. I'm looking forward to having a good old sing-along on the show tonight. Now we've got Mr. back in the room.
Absolutely.
That's the only part I'm looking forward to. I'll be dancing around this room. Don't you worry about that.
I look forward to seeing it. Yeah, big up to everyone listening live on YouTube. Big up to Barney. Big up to Haley. Big up to Chris. Big up to Nige and big up to Holly. We'll be playing I'm Loving Big Ange instead as a surprise for James shortly. So stick around, Holly, in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But yeah, reminder, if you are listening live on YouTube, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. If you like what you're seeing as well, leave a like and turn the notifications bell on. If you are listening on any other podcast platforms such as Spotify or Amazon Music, don't forget to give us a follow or 5-star review. But before we get into it and we talk about I'm Loving Big Ange instead, very, very quick. Wait, is it quick? It's a long paragraph. I'm going to try and summarize it. And for our new sponsors, Security VPN. And that is now why we love diving into action on the pitch. As you know, here on the podcast, today we're stepping off the pitch for a second to talk about a game changer in online security, which is our new partner, Security VPN. You guys know how critical it is to stay online these days, especially when you're streaming matches, getting into online forums, or even doing a bit of sports betting. That's why we've partnered with Security VPN, the ultimate money-saving tool for cyber safety. You wouldn't play football without your shin pads, right? Well, Security VPN is the ultimate defense for your online life. Let's just say Security VPN lets you navigate the online world with the same confidence as James Maddison on the ball for Tottenham. Stick around to find out how you get exclusive discount and dedicated viewers in the coming shows. So now that bit's done, I always like it when that bit is done, out of the way, and we can focus on Tottenham once again. Big up to everyone in the chat. But yeah, that's what I want to start with. Something we haven't done on the show before, but it's only fair since we got James. So listen in.
Pochettino is dead. I'm loving Big Ange instead. And through it, oh, play the way we want to. With Big Ange positive or blue. Whether I'm right or wrong. Big Ange, oh, you can keep your Pochettino. Conte and Mourinho. And even Christian Rose. Cause everywhere we go. I'm loving Big Ange instead. Yeah.
Love it.
There you go. I'm loving Big Ange instead. So James, the man himself behind it all. How do you get this all together? What's the thoughts behind it?
It first come to me with obviously when he took over Chelsea, and I was travelling at the time, and then he said that Chelsea were the biggest club, didn't he, for the last 10, 15 years. And it felt like that kind of thing where your girlfriend's got a new fella, and just felt like, oh, you're dead to me. Like tongue in cheek, it's nothing malicious. Like, you're dead to me. That sort of line stuck with me, and I already had like Ange and Angels in my head. Yeah, I felt like, and it just naturally from there, watching some of the pre-season football, loving the way we're playing, that kind of shackles off 2 or 3 years of terrible, boring football. It just felt like an excitement. So it's from that really. I don't know, it's sort of quite naturally
Okay.
written.
Yeah, I love that. And also, James, how does it feel? Like we saw in that second clip, fans singing it at the stadium. How does it feel to you, whether you're there or you see a video of it on social media after? How does that feel to you to know people singing your song?
Well, it's very rare that I'm silent. I'm quite a chatty guy and extrovert guy. So, but these two moments, Sheffield United and Liverpool, like you've got to remember that's come when I'm already the happiest person in the world anyway, because Tottenham have just won in the last minute, and Tottenham's everything to me. It's absolutely everything. So I'm on my knees, like going, can't feel any better. And then suddenly that comes out. It's like, I don't know. The two times I've heard it like that, I was just silent. I was just looking around, going, "What's going on?" It's just, but nothing compares to that feeling. Nothing compares to Spurs fans singing your lyrics, man. Nothing ever will, I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go on.
What was it like when you turned your phone on and Instagram or whatever, and all of a sudden Bobby Williams is everywhere singing your song? That must have been quite surreal.
That was insane. But for me, it's as amazing that is. It's still not the same as the Spurs fans singing it. Like Robbie Williams doing it was like a game changer. Like this wouldn't be this big if it wasn't for that, obviously. When he first did it, I was thinking, oh, where's the credit for that? You know what I mean? That wasn't really. I mean, I'd taken his song, he took my lyrics, so it's 1-1. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was quite crazy. I knew it was coming. Someone just said he's going to sing it in a rehearsal or something, or in sound check. But I never really. I was down a pub at the time where I found out. I never really quite believed it. So yeah, it's always been a bit of a journey. But the pinnacle is the last two goals against Sheffield United and Liverpool. Already feeling like the happiest I've ever felt, and the Spurs fans singing it. Like it's just, I think I'll look back over a few years and go, "What the hell was that all about?" Do you know what I mean?
I love it.
But then even that, like you're all Spurs mad as well. Like you're still more thinking about the victory and the 3 points than even when they're singing it. Do you know what I mean? You're still thinking, that was a great goal with 3 points. That's still more important to me than them doing it. But it's still, yeah, it's an incredible feeling. Incredible feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine. It must be amazing. Pav, be honest. How many times have you listened to the song?
I can't even keep count. It's on my mind 24/7. It's such a catchy song, James. Like,
Thank
honestly, I'll just sing it at random points, even in the shower. It's that catchy.
Wow.
Yeah. It is definitely very, very catchy. I mean, I don't think there's been a day gone by I haven't listened to it. I wasn't at the Sheffield United game, but I went to the Liverpool game. But especially from that day, ever since now, it's at least every single day. So it's fantastic to sing it after the game. I mean, pretty much 60,000 fans singing it is just amazing. And the noise that we can create as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Travis, how many times have you listened to the song?
Do you know what, right? I've been Legoland today with my girl and a little boy. And
Yeah.
I knew obviously Mr. James Black was going to be on the show tonight, so I had it on full whack in the car.
Did you? Oh, I love that.
Driving down the M25, blaring it out.
Oh, amazing. Man.
Oh dear. Oh, absolutely. Were you singing along as well?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think most of London heard me.
That's what it's all about. Mate. I love that.
Absolutely. I mean, international break. I mean, we may not be able to watch Spurs, but we still got to keep with Spurs some way or the other. Chris, be honest. How many times do you listen to this?
I couldn't tell. I no idea. Well into double figures, easy. But yeah, can't help but sing along to it, can you? It's catchy. It's obviously we're feeling good about ourselves because we've got our kind of Tottenham back, entertaining football back, and then the song is just encapsulates that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to move on now, but towards the end of the show, I will play the song once because it has to be played again, doesn't it? We all want to hear it again. But yeah, moving on, I want to discuss. So we are top of the league. It's been a dream start. I want to know from you all what exactly is achievable this season. So yeah, James, coming back to you, I've got to throw it out there. I don't like to cause speculation or put it out there that early, but I want to put it out here. Can we win the league, or is that just not realistic this season?
Firstly, I don't know. I'd like to remain underdogs and not spoken about him. You know what I mean? That as soon as it starts getting in a conversation, I get a bit whoa. Can we? you know what? Do you remember? Obviously, remember the Pochettino era when we got quite close. Never sort of see that coming. And European football not being there, having that break, buying into this new system. I think the only thing that's going to stop us is injuries in a few key areas, touch wood. But if they don't happen and we buy quite well in January, probably I'd say centre back, forward, and even like a good, really good backup for Vicario might be a good shout in case there's an injury there. Then, yeah, I think we've got a good shout of top 4 for me is bare minimum now, and it never was. So yeah, I think we've got a shout, but whisper it, don't shout it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Anyone who's put as well a lot of questions for the panel or for James in the chat live on YouTube or early or on Twitter or privately messaged me towards the end of the show, we'll put your questions forward to James and the panel, so I can see some comments there, so we will get to it, so stay tuned until the very end. But Chris, coming to you, can we do it? Can we win the league? Surely not, but can we, or is it too early to dream?
Well, no one expected Leicester to win, so anything's possible.
Very true.
They won the league at 50,000, 50 to 1 or 50,000 to 1 or whatever it was. But I agree with James. Injuries to key players, I'd put Maddison in there as well. If Maddison gets injured, I'm not sure we've got anyone to create the chances. So I'd like to see someone come in to replace him or competition for places with him. Centre backs, big issues if one of them gets injured, I think, and probably Vicario as well. But yeah, no European football, no League Cup, so that's 2 tournaments out of the way that we don't have to worry about. So there's only the FA Cup, which I want a good run in the FA Cup and preferably to win it, because I think
definitely,
but winning the league, I think it's far too early to tell at the moment. We've had some really good results. We got battered by Arsenal last season. This season we more than competed, could have easily have won. So yeah, it's possible because Leicester won it when no one fancied them, so it is possible. But yeah, I'd be looking at top 4 now and then see what happens. But 10, 15, 20 games, see where we are there, and then see where that takes us, and then go on from there. But yeah, it's possible. But I do agree with James as well. Let's be the underdogs. Don't talk to don't start saying that we're winning the league here, because then we may crumble. But
yes, exactly, and we are the underdogs. I mean, let's face it. But yeah, for me, I think obviously, like the comment says here, from Thomas, who's Haley on here. Let the fans dream by all means. For now. But at the same time, if we finish inside the top 4, I still think that's a fantastic achievement. Right at the start of our project. At the same time, we must take each game as it comes. Put it this way: come January, we're in this position, or we're within a few points. Then of course it is possible. You're perhaps in the race, if you like. But right now, I don't think it's about that, because you've got to get through that tough Christmas period where we lose the likes of Sarr, Son, Basuma. And can we get through that period? Can we avoid key injuries? So, yeah, Pav, can we?
Do you know what? I like to think positive, but I agree with you lot. I don't think we can get carried away with ourselves at the moment.
Yeah.
We are too early within the season. Anything can happen. Like you lot said, injuries. Obviously, there's going to be times where players are going to be away for international duties and things like that. So we can't get ahead of ourselves. At the moment, we're living the dream where we're undefeated. But I feel like, putting my Spurs hat on, I feel like we will have a dip at some point, realistically, right? And we can't tell what's ahead in the future. We can only stay positive and we can only have faith in Ange. And at this point in time, we can't get too ahead of ourselves, right? Like you said, keep being the underdogs. We can't big ourselves up. Like, come on, look at Arsenal last season, the way that they were bigging themselves up. We can't be like them, right? We've just got to live it in the moment and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely love that. I think that's the way to go about it for me anyway. Thank you, Pav. Travis, can we, or are you not getting carried away this early?
Listen, I agree with obviously what a lot of people said on here a minute ago. Me being a Tottenham fan, I just get these hallucinations in my head of us winning the league and me just doing laps up and down the Tottenham high road, screaming and dancing. Because that's exactly what would happen with absolute pride and joy. But yeah, I can't get too carried away, because I know at some point we are going to dip. because that's what Tottenham Hotspur do. They pick us up and drop us back down again. But I'm still a bit concerned about the team, what the guys were saying. Obviously, you know, if James Maddison gets injured, I know obviously we've got Bentancur's come back, but James Maddison, he's putting the strings in that midfield at the minute and really solved issues big time within that midfield. The back four, I'm not really too worried about. Eric Dyer hasn't had a look in, which for all that don't know, I'm not an Eric Dyer fan at all. I can't stand the bloke. But as far as the back four is, I think if Van der Ven has started, absolutely, he's really taken off. He's done a lot better than what I thought he was going to be. So I know it was good for Wolfsburg watching his videos and stuff on YouTube. But I think if he gets injured or Romero gets injured, we're back to square one. Ben Davies and Eric Dyer again. So there's no comparison with who plays and who's on the bench. So I think we do need to bolster our squad a tiny bit more come January. But yeah, I'm not getting too carried away. I have little parties and hallucinations in my head, but that's as far as it goes at the moment. So.
Well, you're absolutely entitled to that. I mean, we are top of the league at the moment anyway. Why not call the season off? I don't see the problem with that. But yeah, I don't think you can get too carried away, because like you said, it really does depend on injuries. Because let's say worst comes to worst, which would be horrible, I hope it doesn't happen, of course, Maddison gets an injury, he's out for 3-4 months, then he'd probably realistically not be able to maintain that, or Van der Ven or Romero, even potentially, sadly, both, or you get suspensions, for example. So you can't really answer that question, because it depends on injuries, depends on form, the form of the opposition. So you can't really say whether we're in a title race or not. We just have to see, take it game by game and see how it pans out. But the big man behind the wheel, Big Ange Postecoglou, has been named Premier League Manager of the Month for the second year in a row. I mean, it's easy stuff for him, isn't it? So Chris, coming back to you, back to back. Consecutive trophies now for him. It's fun, easy, isn't it?
Well, don't tempt it, Harry. We end up having a stinking 2 months. But yeah. I wasn't one who wanted Postecoglou at the start, not because I didn't like him or anything like that. I just didn't know that much about him. But I don't know if you guys know Ian Meth, but he's a big support. He lives in Scotland, so knows a lot about Celtic, and everything that he said that Postecoglou would bring has happened already. It's just the surprise is that it's happened within 8 games. But yeah, I mean, he was on a hiding to nothing bit. Not a hiding to nothing. That's the wrong terminology. He couldn't really lose, could he? Because he was playing attacking football, which we've been starved of. And if we had have lost games, at least we're trying to be attacking. But yeah, the change that we've seen, I think James alluded to it. The change that we've seen from the dross that we had for 2 seasons, 3 seasons to now is amazing, and he deserves everything he's getting, Postecoglou, because he lost his best player, Kane, and is still top of the league and scoring goals and everything like that. And I'm sure we'll talk about Mitrovic and Kane as well. But obviously, Harry Kane leaves, 30 goals, whatever it was. His response, okay, we'll just get it throughout the team. And yeah, he's been a breath of fresh air. He's been absolutely superb. Let's hope he can make it three months in a row.
Absolutely, let's hope so. Yeah, so Pav, 2 out of 2 for Postecoglou. Like I said, he's done really, really well, taken to the Premier League really, really quickly. So yeah, what have you made of his time at Tottenham so far?
Do you know what? I think he's just done wonders at the moment. Like Chris said, I was one of those that didn't really know much about him. Him coming in, I didn't really have him on my mind, and I, to be honest, felt quite negative him coming in. I was like, oh, do you know what? He's not gonna really do anything. But he's proved us fans wrong. He's come into the season, settled in so well, changed the team around. We're one of the 2 teams that's still undefeated with how many games in, and it's crazy to think how much he's done, bearing in mind he's not even been a manager in the Prem, and we're the first team he's managed in the Prem. So it's amazing what he's done, and I reckon he'll do great wonders at this club if he carries on the way he's going.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I remember the conversation when it was confirmed, that, for example, the day of the new Tottenham manager, will the Premier League be too big of a step up for him? Will he be able to cope with the pressure? Will he make it through to Christmas? I remember all these conversations. I mean, now it looks very, very silly, the hashtag we got. etc. But no, myself, I definitely wasn't behind the appointment when you had the likes of Pochettino and Nagelsmann at the time linked, and you had Postecoglou, who for me, I just probably my fault. I didn't spend the time to research. I saw what he had won and thought, is that miraculous at Celtic? But you look at the football they played, and even how quickly he got turned the fans over, and how quickly he's turned the fans over here. I mean, he's worked wonders, and that looks like an amazing appointment. Give credit where credit's due to leaving the club. Go for it, Travis. Looks like you want to say something.
Yeah, look, we looked at Luis Enrique at Barcelona. They got battered against Newcastle the other week, So credit due is where credit's due with Daniel Levy. I think he's completely pulled the cat out of the bag there. I mean, as I said, I don't want to speak too soon, but we looked at two managers, and we've gone obviously for Big Ange, who, as Pav said, never managed in the Premier League before. He's the first Premier League team he's ever managed, and it's brilliant. So.
Absolutely, yeah. And Travis, does he deserve that award for you?
100%, and that's not coming from a biased Tottenham fan perspective. I think the guy is just an absolute, genuine, really nice bloke. You've only got to watch him in his press conferences and stuff like that. The way he talks and he's just got such a cool aura about him. He's like the James Bond of the Premier League.
I think the genius of him is, like Travis says, he's a really nice guy, but do not annoy him, do not upset him, because he's one of those. He doesn't have to do the Conte Mourinho where almost like pinning them up against the wall by the throat because you've done something wrong. It's done in a way that you're disappointed if you've upset him rather than you're shouted at. And I think that's genius of him.
It was
one of the parts.
I was from Sky. And he said that they all look forward to the pressers so much now. The Tottenham pressers is their main one. They used to hate him, and now they love him. That says a lot about it as well, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. But yeah, James, 2 out of 2 for the big man behind the wheel. Are you impressed? How quickly he's taken to the Premier League. What has impressed you most, should I say, about his time at Tottenham so far? What has really impressed you?
I think the way that we're playing is definitely up there, but his personality, how he's coming across, is absolutely brilliant. Everyone's so proud that he's our manager. He's just an amazing guy, isn't he? Like he's that way so lovable. But that would mean nothing. Let's be honest. If the football wasn't there, really, we'd be like, okay, he's a nice guy, but it's the way we're playing. It's got to be the number one. Can't believe it. And 4 out of 4 trophies. In the first 2 months. I mean,
listen, we're at it. Take that little wins.
The other thing is coming from the Scottish League, that's not as competitive, obviously, as the Premier League. But my worries was something like similar to what happened with Gerrard when he did that switch. Yeah. But then obviously so did Sir Alex, and that went completely different. Was it Aberdeen, and then he comes to Man United, I think. That's Alex. But because I was writing these songs for him and that, I have to do a little bit more due diligence, and I have to look into these people to make sure I'm not hanging myself out to dry. So when I started to look into it, I was already quietly confident that at least we'd be playing the right way.
Yeah, absolutely love that. But also, I'm glad you did mention there that we got 4 out of 4 because Heung-min Son has been named the EA Sports Player of the month of September. It was August was James Maddison, so we've got 4 out of 4, and we seem to be rattling every fan base up and down the country along the way as well. So it's all right for some, isn't it? Top of the league. So yeah, James, coming back to you, how important is Son to Ange Postecoglou's Ange Ball, if you like, the way we're playing? And again, did he deserve that award for you?
Yeah, definitely. How important is he? I would say you have to listen to what the players are saying about how he leads them and stuff. And again. You got Ange and Sonny, he's just one of the most likable guys, isn't he, as well? And he's delivering on top of it. You can see why most people are turning around to Tottenham now. Just that clip of him when he puts that microphone down, isn't it, on TNT Sports.
Oh, how carefully he does it. Yeah, I love that.
He's actually, to be honest with you, I think that's got to be the top 1 or 2 that we could not get the injury. And I'm worried about him going in January. And I think that if we don't get an out-and-out striker, spend some of that Kane money, we could come pretty unstuck. He's been brilliant, but like even moving out to the left, I think it'll be like I think his connections compared to last season have been stronger down the left-hand side as well. So yeah, I think he's been pivotal.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, since he's been, I wasn't necessarily for, I can hold my hands up here. For him playing down the middle, he's played, his career down the left. Can he do it as well? But he's done really, really well. I mean, he's got Player of the Month for a reason. So Travis, coming to you, do you kind of agree with James? And how important is Son to this system? And how what have you made him play in that central role?
Yeah, listen, Son is one of the most crucial players we've got in that football team. And I think I said before in the previous podcast, him being given that captaincy armbands, huge. And I generally cannot see him leaving the club, because you'll find with these Koreans, they are so committed to what they do, and they bleed whatever they do, whether that's in the army, football team, whatever it may be. They are genuine, committed people in whatever profession they do. Obviously I would like to see him get a few more goals. I think he'll lead Richie in the right direction. Obviously, bearing in mind he hasn't obviously really done much. Another player I feel really, really sorry for, because you can see that he generally obviously wants to score goals. But yeah, he's a massive part of the football club. He was when Kane was here. It was all Son and Kane. They were the two main players that obviously people were singing and dancing about. But yeah, one, I can't see Sonny leaving, and two, he's a massive part of that football club.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Chris, Son, Player of the Month for September, deserved for you?
Oh, absolutely. Like Travis and James have been saying, huge player. And we talk about Maddison pulling the strings, but if no one's making the runs for him and can finish it, then it's
very true.
He's not doing a huge amount. But we saw when Ericsson wasn't playing, it was all side to side. No one's making runs because they know no one's going to be there. Kane comes deep. Son is on his bike as soon as Kane turns, and now it's the same with Maddison as well. So he knows the supply is coming, so he's making the runs into the dangerous areas where he's going to hurt teams. And the goals and the two awards are a testament to that. And I think no one wanted Kane to leave, but I think it's benefited Son, because when he was injured under Pochettino, he was the main man who got our goals, and now he's the main man again. I think he loves, with the captaincy, like Travis said as well, he's the main man, and he's the man there, and I think he liked that. He was always second fiddle when Kane was there, even though he was world class as well, and they were a double act. But I think Kane leaving has been hugely beneficial to Son, and in terms of captain, completely the right choice. You see him on the sidelines when he's taken off, cheering the team on and celebrating like he's on the pitch when we scored. Proper captain's player. Doesn't cause any manager any trouble. You stick him in centre back and he wouldn't complain. He'd just play there. I don't think Spurs, any other team, I don't think anyone's got a bad word to say about Son. Everyone loves him, and that's just testament to him. But yeah, if he gets injured long term and we don't get a striker, I like Richarlison as well, but he needs a goal. He needs a goal, and he needs to start scoring goals. Otherwise, he's just going to find it even more tricky. But if we can keep Son fit, keep all the others fit. Certainly Maddison. He needs the Maddison to play, I think. So if we can keep them two fit, we'll still score goals with those two. And I love Son.
Absolutely. I think we all do. Absolutely, Chris. Spot on. I mean, I love this team, but it is reliant on injuries. And if we're in like the top two, like I said, comes that January transfer window, then I think heavy, not necessarily heavy investment, but excellent recruitment in key positions is needed. It
needs to be. And says, I want this player. He has to go out and get him. Not, I want this player. Okay, we'll get one who's 20 million cheaper. No.
Yeah, it just needs to be for that window, especially only because I personally think, I know people often say, it's an excuse that the January transfer window is tougher. It is generally tougher. People say, how do we get Kulusevski or Bentancur? Well, believe it or not, neither of them were wanted at the time by Juventus. It was excellent recruitment by Fabio Paratici and Tottenham to get them both turned out to be excellent. Hopefully, Bentancur still after his injury, really important to the system. For example, Kulusevski. But it is hard to do business. But if there's a player out there that Ange wants, we have to just go out there and get him. Because for me, a transfer window mid-season is just so important on improving your position and giving you that fighting chance.
Well,
So
Ange ain't stupid, is he? He ain't going to go, well, I want Haaland, I want Mbappe, and I want Kane, and you get me there. Because that's just completely
if there's a
unachievable.
player like Ivan Toney, he goes, I want, then I expect us to attempt anyway to outbid.
He's going to ask for realistic players that fit his system and way of playing, and then Daniel Levy has to do that as best he can. Obviously, if the player doesn't want to go, then there's not a huge amount you can do about that. But at least make an offer, not one of these the players valued at 40 million. Oh, here's 20 million. We tried, nothing like that. But if we're in a tight race come January, we have to do that.
Absolutely, and with Ivan Toney, Brentford want their money. They rate him very highly, and if they can, they want to keep him. But Pat, before we move on with Son, talk to me about Player of the Month for September, Heung-min Son. Just how important is he to us?
I think you lot nailed it on the head, to be honest. He is such a likeable player, and you can see how dedicated he is to our club. And obviously, he must have been upset when Kane left because that was his right man. But you can see how well he fits into Ange's system, playing into that central role. He is so key for our team, and he deserved that captain role. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, well deserved, because he speaks well, speaks highly of the club. He knows what he's doing, and we need a captain that is in that role, right? Knows what he's doing. When I saw Lloris being in that role beforehand, I didn't think he was right for that. But now Son coming in, you can tell that he's bringing together a team. We are a team, and it's so important. And I think he's just important for us, and he deserves that.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get on to the Fulham game, which this episode is mainly focused on, considering it is our next game in less than 7 days' time. I want to come back to you, James. And do you think this international break has come at a good time? I asked people this question last week, and it's kind of split, if you like. But has the international break come at a good time for us, with the injuries to Johnson and then small knocks to Maddison and Son, for example, who were doubts going into the Luton game, for example? Or is it bad time in terms of we're top of the league and we've built momentum? You want to keep going? What do you reckon?
I think for the first bit, I think it's come at a good time because I was just thinking just then, I can't wait to see Johnson back, actually. He really did impress me. And we've got Brian Hill that's just knocking on the door. I think he's
of course, yeah.
I really want to see him under Ange, but I think he was born to play for Ange the way that he plays.
Yeah, I think there's a player there. There's a player there in Brian Hill.
And with the knocks to Maddison and Son, I actually think overall, and plus having another couple of weeks being on goal difference above the South Londoners, who keep whining about the fact that joint up has been really funny. Do you know what I mean? So, it's been good for the Bants at the same time. But, I even for the club, I think it's come at quite a good time now. Take stock, realise where we are, get a few players back to more full fitness, and a few players are on the fringe to come in. I don't know how far Bentancur is, but I think he must be another 3 or 4 weeks, I think, because he's not even proper training.
3 weeks.
No, he's only a few weeks, I think.
Really?
I don't think he's that far away, but at the same time, I don't think he's what he was expected back. I had January, I had November mentioned, so it may not be it could be probably later. But for me, the priority is that as long as the midfielders we've got now are fit, he's introduced obviously back. We want him back, right? Everyone does.
It's going to be interesting without Basuma, because I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I think he's been a key player again. We've mentioned so many players here that have been key players. That's why we're doing so well. But
where does Bentancur get in at the moment? Because our midfield has been excellent. And as well, we want him to be introduced gradually. You don't want him to put him in there like a week or two before he's expected to come back and picks up a even worse injury, do we?
No. But I actually think Højbjerg's a bit underrated, to be honest. I like the way he plays. He is no Basuma, and I'm not pretending that he is. But I think he's a solid player. I think he's a good one to have on the bench to come on. But I think we will miss Basuma against Fulham, and we'll see a bit of a difference, to be honest.
Absolutely.
It was Fulham, obviously, that we played with all the the B-siders out, and that's itching in my brain a little bit, like with a few of these players not being playing. But I still think we'll turn them.
I hope you're right, and we will get on to the Fulham game and who comes in for Basuma. So everyone, save your thoughts for about 2-3 minutes time before we end this discussion. So Travis, I want to bring you in on this international break. Good time or a bad time for Spurs?
I personally can't stand the international break. I think it's really boring. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I really don't. Some people enjoy it, but I think it's the most boringest thing.
It's horrible.
Yeah, and it probably is a good time because it gives enough time for the players to have a rest, and then obviously to get going again. So yeah, that's my opinion on that.
Fair enough. Can I be honest? I used to look forward to the international breaks last season where we played some horrible stuff, got laughed at every week. I used to go, when's the next international break? And it seemed to feel like months before the next international break come along. But we're playing some good stuff. We win games against Liverpool, and it just seems to be at the moment, I don't know if it's just me, but so many international breaks. I just want to keep going. We're on good form, keep going. But it seems to be stop-start. Having said that, it is the most probably bearable international break, for a long while because we've got bragging rights that we're top of the league. I mean, it can't be much better than that. So Pav, what do you reckon? Good time, bad time?
Do you know what, Travis? I agree with you. I hate the international break. It is so boring, right? But I agree. I think it's come at a great time because I think we needed that break. But then again, international breaks, right? It's a hit miss, right? Sometimes it brings like positivity with having that break, but then sometimes it brings injuries, and it's a bit like, do you know what I mean? But we've got a game on Monday coming up, which will be good. But obviously,
London
we're going to be
derby.
missing Zuma, so it's a bit of a weird one. But yeah, I think I'd take it as a positive for now.
Fair enough. I mean, it's international break. It isn't great, but if you look at it for Spurs, then it's good. Go on, Travis.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I just do a shout out to Barney, please? That geezer is an absolute legend. And Barney, I love your pink Fulham shirt. It's quality.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't know, Barney is a good friend of mine. I'll be seeing him before the Spurs and Fulham game. I need to get him back because we had the tour around Fulham talking to him about autism and neurodiversity the day after we got knocked out on penalties, and that was a sour one because fair to say that everyone at Craven Cottage was very happy about that result. So I do need to get Barney back absolutely as soon as I can on that one. But yeah, Chris, I know you told us on the last episode, last Monday, about your thoughts on the international break. But for people who didn't listen to the episode, and if your opinions changed within 7 days, give me your thoughts again on the international break.
Well, I've been so busy I can't remember what I said 7 days ago, so I'll have to say what I think now. I think you hit the nail on. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Harry. When you're playing well, top of the league, you don't want the momentum to be stopped. When you're terribly underperforming, awful, you can't wait for 2 weeks off because you don't have to endure Spurs. But I mean, it's good in the sense that we get some of the players back, but then I'm always worried that one of our big players is going to go and get injured in a meaningless game against teams that aren't really playing or shouldn't be playing against a team of England's quality or whatever. But yeah, I'm with Travis. I can't stand the international breaks anymore. They're just boring. But as long as everyone's fit, I'm not that bothered. We get an extra 2 days off because we're playing on Monday. But
Didn't he rest Son? They rest Son. I think they did, didn't they?
They did. I thought he said he wasn't going to.
Yeah,
I didn't see.
Benched him, I think, right. Which is a good one.
I mean, as long as we get everyone fit for Monday, obviously no Basuma, obviously. But what I love about Ange as well is that Basuma's out, but we won't change our way of playing at all. We'll be playing as though Basuma's in there. It's just that he's obviously not in there. But yeah, international break's just boring now.
I think
Bentancur's
got. I did see on the Tottenham ITK the other day that it is literally 3 weeks and said he's back. So hopefully.
What's that? 2 games, maybe three at the most, isn't it? He's missing.
Yeah, 3 games. Yeah,
great. He could be back for the Chelsea game, but I don't think he will be.
You've got to
He's spicy on it.
really make sure we don't rush him back, because an ACL isn't something
Yeah.
to be messed about with. Because
Exactly.
you bring him back too early, he's going to do it again. And I just hope we see the Bentancur of last season. I hope there's not a 1% in his mind going, well, I don't want to go into this challenge. I might get my leg clattered again.
Didn't he say as well? Didn't Ange say when he would come out, he's wanted to play and he's had to send him back? He said, no, you got to go back because he was too keen to start playing straight away, apparently.
Yeah, there you go. It's also about that match fitness. It takes players a long while. We've seen, like we came back from the summer break. It took everyone a couple of games to really get back to their proper performance. Like look at Manchester City, maybe not this season, but over the years, how slow they've started. So he needs time. I don't want him to be rushed back. And not being funny, whatever you think of them, when you've got Højbjerg and Skip sitting on the bench, there is no point, throwing him in there. But what I do want to, Chris.
Sorry. He's got to play some full games or 3/4 of games, because he can't just come in completely cold when Basuma and Sarr go off and his match fitness is through the floor. But then where does he fit in if we're still winning games? Basuma and Sarr are bossing things. Although, what I would say about Basuma, what I said last week, he's got to cut out the cheating, because that dive was a disgrace and he deserved to be sent off. Very angry with him. But I would imagine Ange has had a little chat with him and he's probably a bit embarrassed. But yeah, where does Bentancur fit in if we carry on playing the way we are? But he's got to fit in somewhere, because we need him for a month to be fully fit. Good problem for Ange to have, I suppose.
I was going to say, I suppose it's a good problem for Ange Postecoglou to have. But my ideal scenario is he comes back for November, spends time on the bench. We have all our players fit and he's introduced from the bench. Then when they go away, at December time, they're there. Bentancur's there to play and step in.
I mean, January do have FA Cup games as well, so we don't have a full.
No, that's right.
Each week league game, so he can play the full night in the FA Cup game.
But I think a cup run's important, so it really does depend on the way you look at it. But I want to move on to Fulham now, and James, I want to come to you. 2 questions, really. First one, how are you feeling ahead of the game? Your confidence levels, and what would your team look like, bearing in mind that Basuma is obviously suspended?
Confident actually. I think that the players will be, and the manager will be trying to get some revenge on their only blotted paper mark that we've got this season. Team-wise, I obviously wouldn't change it unless we needed to. So in midfield, I would put Højbjerg in. For experience and the fact it's a London derby. Other than that, keep the same. Hopefully Maddison and Son come back without any knocks. I wonder if Johnson's knocking on the door, but I wouldn't change too much. To be honest, I'd leave it as it was, and then just bring Højbjerg in. That was what I'd do. But then, I'm really impressed with Johnson. I am actually. The way he plays, the speed. So maybe a bit of Johnson on the side and Son down the middle. But no, I'd keep it the same and just change Højbjerg. But confident, I'm confident. We'll get the result.
That's what we like to hear.
Absolutely, what we like. Man, I just prefer. I don't know, like a Saturday 3 o'clock or a Sunday afternoon. I was nervous on that 12:30 in Luton, but if a manager can go to Liverpool, can beat Liverpool, and then go and beat the newly promoted side as well when we're down to 10 men, there is something a bit special, because Spurs fans are not used to that. That is a massive banana skin that if you're not a Spurs fan, if you wasn't nervous about.
I must admit though, there's something about an evening kickoff though as well. I don't know if it's necessarily the atmosphere, but it's buzz. I just feel more up for it, to be fair, than like
I'm looking forward to being
12 play Saturday for me.
I'm looking forward to being there. Yeah, I think there'll be the Postecoglou will be up for getting some sort of revenge on the only defeat he's had so far, and I think there'll be an extra bit of drive. But yeah, I think I can only see a Spurs win, if I'm honest.
I hope you're right, and everyone saved their score predictions for about 5 minutes time to round up and get them. If people want to put them in the chat already, we will, but it won't be read out for another 5 minutes. So by all means, save them. Completely up to you. I'll give it up to you. Chris, how are you feeling ahead of this London derby? Like James says, Postecoglou, I'm sure we're looking for revenge secretly, because it's the only game we've lost. And we've done it on penalties. There's no worse way to do it as well. So how are you feeling? What will your team look like as well? Will you change much?
I wouldn't change much in terms of how I'm feeling. I'm always nervous about a Spurs game. I always think we'll win, but I'm always nervous. And the likelihood here is that we're going to be playing when we're not top. We're going to be second or third. So hopefully that doesn't add any pressure on. Hopefully it won't. I think the fact that we've got the drive, like James says, of revenge, hopefully that will take care of itself. We're at home. Højbjerg or Skip in for Basuma. I'm not really fussed which. I think, like you said, Harry, I've got them both on the bench, and they're not terrible players. Obviously, not in Basuma's level, but I wouldn't be upset with either of them playing. And then the rest of the team pretty much keep it as it is. With Johnson, I was slightly disappointed to get in Arsenal with him that he didn't track back, but I think I'm probably being a bit harsh on him because it's probably Ange telling him not to bother. Whereas you see Kulusevski is up and down, helping out. Porro it will be. But yeah, going forward, Johnson and they're struggling, Fulham. But then again, that's one of the reasons why I'm a bit nervous because they're struggling. But maybe a bit of pace running directly at them. He's not short of confidence, is he, Johnson? I'd really want Richarlison to score, but the fact that he isn't scoring, I'm not sure how long you keep him in the team if he's not scoring. But yeah, I wouldn't change anything. Just bring either Skip or Højbjerg in for Basuma, and then just carry on as we are. Hopefully, no injuries. And yeah, I was with James. I honestly thought we'd lose to Luton or not pick something up because I think they'll get a big scalp at home some point this year. I was just hoping it wasn't us. Thankfully, it wasn't. Yeah, I think you're on mute, Harry.
I'm on mute. I always seem to do
There
that.
you go.
Hey, I always do that. I mean, how many times I do it? I could be doing it for 5 years and still do it. But no, what I was going to say is all I would change is Højbjerg in for Skip because all that talk, around Richarlison, the end of the day, goal and assist, Sheffield United and assist against Liverpool. And they're both two recent games and recent wins that, in my opinion, without him, wouldn't have been possible.
I think his role in this team at this moment, anyway, could be more of a super sub kind of role rather than a starter.
But Chris, if Perisic, Solomon, and Johnson were available, then perhaps it's a different story. But right now, I don't think there's any need to change anything.
No, I agree with you. I'm just the longer it goes on, I'm not sure how long you keep it going if Richarlison is struggling. Until you say we're going to have to bench you and stick you on the bench. But I really want him to score. There's no short.
Go on, James.
Johnson through the middle was an option at some point that some people were talking about. I'd be interested in that as well. He's so fast, isn't he?
He is fast. I mean, they've got these players to trial things, and FA Cup, although we treat it seriously, it is a good opportunity, I suppose, to trial these things. But for me, you go full strength in the FA Cup. I said this, the Carabao Cup third round the night before. Full strength. No disrespect to Fulham, but I think full strength. We go 1-2-0 up against Fulham. Then you make your changes. Then you trial things. Then you rotate in the game, and you come away with the win, and you learn a lot of data, for example, from that. But for me, I just don't get it. When you haven't won, I don't like to keep mentioning it, but when you haven't won a trophy since 2008, before I was born, you got to prioritize, doing well, at least progressing to the latter stages. So for me, that's Ange's biggest mistake so far of his career, which I'm sure will be very keen to learn from. The FA Cup will be interesting. But
I like to say, Harry, just before you come in, thank you for making me feel so old there, saying that before you were born. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Let's be honest, apologies. But it has been. It has
in my pipe now, so I'll be back in a minute.
I'm offended, Chris. Love it. Pav, coming to you. Talk to me about how you're feeling ahead of the game and what your team would look like.
Do you know what? I'm walking in with a positive mindset right now, and I'm feeling confident. In terms of team-wise, I wouldn't change anything apart from putting Højbjerg in the midfield. But I think it'll be a good game, especially after, like you said, and I hate to bring it up as always, but, in that Carabao Cup when we played against Fulham and we didn't play our strong team and the score. But the fact that we'll have our team apart from, Basuma, and fingers crossed we won't have anyone else out after the international break. But I'm feeling confident. 8 o'clock under the lights at home. Atmosphere is going to be amazing. I'm buzzing. I can't wait.
Absolutely spot on. I mean, at some point, I think I need to let that, that Carabao Cup game go, because if anyone didn't know, I went on TalkSport after the game, and I stand by everything I said but one thing, and that was that the buzz for the season's gone. At the time, that felt like the case, but that is proper wrong. Top of the league, absolutely loving it. Given the big one after we beat Liverpool, spent most of the night partying, having fun, etc. About the results. So yeah, I do take that back. By the way, I got asked if I would take that back. So yeah, I will. Travis, moving on to you. How do you feel about the game, and what would your team look like?
Yeah, I'm positive. Obviously, I know they beat us in the cup. I'm just watching Barney's comments on the chat there. He's being quite subtle at the moment, so I'll leave him.
Yes, but you wait. Give it the big one. You wait to the day. I'll get a text. He'll be giving the big one. We're gonna beat you. You wait. I'm waiting for it. He's playing it cool at the moment, but you wait. If they take the lead or anything, you give it the big one. You wait. It's only a matter of time.
I'm a bit optimistic here, and I'll probably get shot down for this, but I'd actually rest James Maddison, and I would play Skip and Metasar in that midfield and see how they get on.
What? Yeah, okay. What with Højbjerg?
Yeah, because he's probably the more experienced out of the three of them. But yeah, I'd rest James Maddison. I'd see how Skip and Sarr got on. Probably a bit of a probably playing with fire a little bit there, but I generally would see how they got on.
For me, that's just taking the same risk that we took in the Carabao Cup of experimenting with teams. I get what you're saying, because obviously if Maddison gets injured, we need someone to come in. But yeah,
Chris,
yeah. But
before we move on, I just want to say I don't like all this talk about resting players because we're not in Europe. That's why, for me, I have to mention it for the last time of the show, that Fulham third round, honestly, it lives free in my head, I promise you. Third round game, for example, no need to rest players that period of the season, and you've got no games in Europe to worry about. Nowhere near that Christmas period or anything like that. There's no need to rotate. You had pre-season and the games before in the Premier League to experiment with things. Could have done it during the game, but to make 9 changes, I get a couple. I get 3, 4, maybe 5, but 9 is an absolute killer. But we're leaving that, and that is the last time I plan to mention it on the show because that drives me absolutely insane. But moving on to actually preview on our next 3 games, because I want to know, I'm going to go around the houses and ask how many points you think we're going to get from our first 3 games. So coming back to you, going to go to Pav. I'm going to go in a random order to put you on the spot. Pav, how many points are going to get for our next 3 games? They are, for people who don't know, Fulham at home this Monday, Friday away to Palace, and then the following Monday at home to Chelsea. So 3 London derbies in the space of 7 days, and I have the privilege of going to both home games as well. So how many points are we getting?
7.
7? And do you want to justify your answer?
So I'm confident with the Fulham game. I think we'll get the 3 points. I think Palace away is going to be a tough one. I think we'll get a draw. I don't think we'll lose. And Chelsea at home is going to be very, very toxic, especially with like Poch coming back to Spurs as well. But I think that will be a good game, and I think we'll bash them. So yeah, I think 3 points.
Fair enough. Travis, how many points are we going to get from the next 3 games and why?
I'm going to go with Pav. 7 points. I think Palace we always struggle against anyway. Yeah, are we at home or away to Palace?
Away.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough game. And I think Chelsea, we're going to run them around West London, and we're going to show Poch exactly what he could have had.
Travis, give me a score. Give me a score for the Chelsea game. Why are you feeling confident?
I'm going 4-1 Tottenham, and we're going to absolutely.
Wow.
We're going to, honestly, and I mean that whole well. We're going to absolutely.
We come back to this.
Yeah. Stamford Bridge will be falling down. Let me tell you something.
Oh, yes. I love the sound of it. Absolutely. Love the sound of it. Travis has gone with 7 points as well. I don't know about you guys, but it sounds strange, but I'm fearing more Palace away, than Chelsea at home. I just know what Tottenham are like. But James, how many points are we going to get from our next 3 games? You got 7, or you got a different answer to those 2?
Well, it's going to be quite a boring answer, but I'm actually exactly the same as those guys, and for the same reason. Palace away scares me.
I know, right?
And I think as well, it's the first time that we've got like games quite close together. I don't know why they did that like that. We've got Monday to Friday where we've got not as much rest as well. So yeah, I'm not frightened of Chelsea coming to White Hart Lane anymore. I'm not. I think I'm very confident on the Monday night ones, but they're Palace away. Yeah, something about that. A Friday night, I'm not looking forward to that, man. So yeah, I'm going to go 7. And I'd take 7 as well. Do you know what I mean?
I would absolutely take 7. Barney thinks it's Palace that we're going to trip up. And Travis is a man of many talents. He's not only eating, but also on the podcast. I can see you in the bottom right-hand corner. You're not getting away with that. We can see you. Nice try. But Chris, coming to you, how many points are you going to get for the next 3 games? You got a different answer to 7?
I said 7 last week when you asked, so 7 again, and the draw against Palace. I think Chelsea, the toxicity that Pav mentioned about with Poch, I can see that in terms of the fans being the same as that 3-0 Arsenal game 2 seasons ago. I think the fans will be bang up for that, and I think it will be a hostile environment for Chelsea, and it's whether they can cope. Arsenal didn't at that time, but yeah. Two home wins and a draw against Palace, but it's always tricky at Palace. And like someone said in the comments, I can't remember who it was, well-drilled side under Roy Hodgson, so they're going to be very difficult to break down.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Barney said it. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Barney said,
that's the one, yeah.
Well-drilled side under Roy is going to go with 1-1. So there you go.
7 points, we're undefeated still, so I'd take that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, still undefeated. I'll absolutely take that. And Palace are in a good place this season. I think that mustn't be underestimated. But now moving on to the predicted score for the Fulham game, which the episode is ultimately about. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the houses in no particular order. I'm going to put you on the spot, and I don't want why. I just want the score prediction. Could go in any order. And since he's eating, I'm going to be very, very awkward and come to Travis. Travis, what's your score prediction?
For what game?
Fulham. I knew he wasn't listening. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Ben and Jerry's.
Oh, lovely.
Is that a forward line they got?
I'm going
3-1.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got a 3-1 Tottenham. Chris, give me a score prediction.
Yeah, I'm very unoriginal. 3-1 as well, Spurs.
2 3-1s. Mine was 3-1, so we got 3 3-1s technically. Could be the lucky score. And Pav, what's your score prediction?
I was going to say 2-1.
2-1, different score. I'll take that. And James, last but not least, give me your score prediction, please.
4-1.
We're going 4-1. Okay, everyone in the chat as well, get your score predictions. Barney's feeling confident he's going to go with 1-1. But he keeps mentioning Vinicius. A draw will be an excellent result for Fulham. Fulham will go there with a point. If they can get a point, and, to be fair play to them. But before we get on, last but not least, to the questions that people put forward for the podcast, and not only James, but the panel this morning on Twitter and throughout today's episode live on YouTube, I want to again go around the houses and just want a simple yes or no answer. And I'm going to go again in any random order. And this is a bit more realistic, whether we will finish inside the Champions League places, so the top 4 or not. So, James, yes or no, will we finish inside the top 4?
Yes, and isn't it 5 maybe as well? Top 5 maybe.
5 maybe. So you can
yes.
do it based on top 4 of Champions League places. I'll give that up to
yes.
you. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Pav.
Cool. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You got 2 yeses. Travis isn't eating, so I'm not going to come to him yet. Chris, what do you reckon? Yes or no?
Yep. I think definitely the way we've started and where we are.
I hope you're right. I mean, I take top 4 at the end of the day.
Would you reckon Paris?
Yeah. Travis, top 4?
Absolutely. And we're going to finish above South London as well.
Ooh, wow. Where are they finishing?
That 7th. And I think that wholeheartedly as well, with every inch of me.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Wow. I'm stunned. Wow. Are you serious? Wow. Okay. Wow. I hope you're right. That's all I can say. But moving on to the questions. Wow. Total shock there.
Fans, come on, we're all Spurs fans.
I didn't get the lyrics right for South London Forever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny.
To be honest,
I want to sign CD and everything, James, of the whole lot.
regarding South London, Travis, I'd be delighted if they finish second as long as we finish first. I couldn't care less where they finish, really.
Yeah,
It's
man.
all about us.
Very true. You must focus on ourselves. But moving on to the questions people put forward, Twitter or X now as it's called this morning. So how it works is I again randomly choose someone to answer a question that people put forward. James, I'm going to come to you first. The question is for Barney, who I know is in the chat. So Barney, listen up. Barney says, how do you think that both clubs are adapting post Mitrovic for Fulham and post Kane for Tottenham, having to adapt play and find other ways to create chances and score goals? Good question.
I've not seen too much of Fulham apart from that game, the Carabao Cup. So I wouldn't know too much about that. But isn't Vinicius? He's playing quite well there, isn't he? He's doing
Yes,
all right.
Barney, correct me if I'm wrong, but you like Vinicius, but you aren't sure about Jimenez. So yeah, I think Barney's a fan of Vinicius. I mean, we don't want him to score.
No, he won't anyway. Don't worry.
I hope he doesn't, because we had obviously the opportunity to sign him.
And without Kane, like none of us are stupid. He's a world-class striker, and every team would have him. But there is that camaraderie in the team that everyone had to step up. And when Son said that, every Spurs fan was thinking, please let this be true. And he was saying, like, everybody needs to step up and make themselves a man now without Kane being there. And that's happened. And would it have happened if he was there? I don't know. We'll never know the answer to that. But adapting really, really well, because we're also not playing with just one injury and we're absolutely buggered now. Do you know what I mean? You've got so many people stepping up. So yeah, it could be a blessing in disguise, but I'd still take him back 100%. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think we'd be in all be talking about title race, not being funny if we had Kane here.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Others have stepped up, and I think there's a lot of positives come out of it. Individuals like Son in particular as well. So I'm not complaining. It's Kane's choice. At the same time, I hope he regrets it. But a question from me here. I don't usually answer them, but it is Barney, so I will here. It's this question for you, Harry. Do you feel that this game has extra spice to it as we're great friends and the work we do together? Yes, it does add spice to it. I have been thinking about it all week, and I cannot have part two of you going on about it. So yeah, Barney, I need to get you back for that. But a question from Thomas, which I'm going to give to you, Chris. Thomas says, if we went for Tony, what is your maximum you pay for him? It's interesting because we talked about that earlier.
Well, if Son gets injured, it's kind of whatever Brentford want, but 60, 70 million maybe, I think is probably realistic, because they're talking about 80. 60 would be good, but it depends as well. If Postecoglou wants him, Auburn's been mentioned. If he wants Auburn, then Tony's redundant essentially. But yeah, I mean, he's a good striker, isn't he, Tony? And he's kind of a kind of mould of Kane, big, strong, can finish. 60 million, 70 million, something like that is probably what I'd go for. But obviously, it probably goes up if Brentford know we've got big injuries to Son or Richarlison or both or whatever. But I do like the Veliz guy as well. He looked quite good when he came on. Can't remember who he came on against. Luton. He looked quite good.
Yeah, I thought he looked really good. Definitely a good player for the future. Pav, I'm going to ask you the same question actually. Give me, ideally a price. Your maximum that you would pay for Ivan Toney. I mean, a lot of people, for example, Twitter will sit here and go whatever they want. But realistically, in Spurs' best interest financially, what would be the realistic maximum?
I think I agree with Chris, 60 to 70. But I hate to break it to you guys, he's not going to come to us. I don't know if you've watched the episode that he done with this interviewer about his whole betting thing. And he said in that the only other club he would go to is Arsenal. He said that he's watched them growing up and he'd only go to Arsenal. So
at the same time, we're top of the league.
Huh?
Yeah, but he could change his mind. You never know. I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
It's between Arsenal and Chelsea. Who wants him more in January? But time will tell. And Brentford, of course. We want to keep him. But time will tell. Travis, maximum you would pay for Brentford's Ivan Toney, who's currently suspended until January?
50 mil.
That's not a lot. Okay, fair enough. 50 million. There you go. Don't think he's going to be a Spurs player for 50 million, but because Brentford rate him highly. But you just never know. So we'll let the January transfer window do the talk.
He's their best. Yeah, I know they've got Bremo, whatever name is as well, but Ivan Toney is their best player, so of course they're going to.
Oh, no doubt about it. Absolutely, yeah. James, this question's from you. Yeah, this question's from you, from Thomas, who says, whereabouts in the stadium do you play your music before and after the match? And are you always there on every single match day? Good question.
Every single match day, I don't know. It changes. I do about 95% of them. And next match, I am at the White Hart Bar for the Fulham game, which is East Stand level 5. And it's not always the same place. It's either there or the Shelf, which is level 1. And I can see what they're kind of doing is they're rotating me in between each game is what they seem to be doing. So if I'm there one week, I'm back up there the next week, and that's how they're rotating it. And the next one's White Hart Bar, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. And apologies to everyone else, but the next questions are all for James. So James, get ready. There's quite a few questions on the spot here because obviously we put that individual tweet. Barney says, in the build-up to our game on Monday the 23rd, how would you rate each side's starts the season out of 10, and who's impressed you the most?
I'll say that again. Sorry. After what?
No worries. So obviously we've got the game coming up Monday. What would you rate out of 10, both Fulham and Tottenham start of the season? Who stood out for you?
Tottenham's 9 out of 10. Fulham 6 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough. And any individuals that stood out for you for either side?
Oh yeah, for me, Basuma, Van de Ven. I actually think Porro's been absolutely incredible. Vicario, I know I'm just sounding like a gushing Spurs fan, but so many of them surprised me. Vicario, Sonny, yeah, there's been loads, and for Fulham, to be honest with you, I've not seen enough of it. To be honest, I've not seen enough to be able to comment on it.
Okay, fair enough. And part one of the 2 questions from Robbie says, how much do you want to believe that there's a title chance for Spurs?
I'm one of them people who don't want to believe yet, because I just don't know what to do with them feelings. Do you know what I mean? So I just kind of like to, like I say, keep an underdog, keep whispering about it, don't mention it too loudly. Back in my head, I do think about it, but I try and tell myself not to because of that 2017 and what happened with Poch and all that.
Indeed.
Out of the bridge.
Take game by game, hey?
Yeah,
and the second part from Robbie's question says, any new songs coming? Oof.
Yeah, there is a few. There is, yeah. I like to what is going to start coming is involving the fans more, because I've got like loads of ideas and that. Like I like to build a community. When I'm playing live, I like to have people around and shout things out. Do you know what I mean? I want to build that. So that's one of the things that will start coming into play before the end of the season. So other people doing stuff and writing stuff with me and having a crack with it. But new songs myself, yeah. Always got stuff in my head. So each game I try and bring something new into it. I've got a new one for Romero.
Have you? Oh,
yeah.
Keep an eye out. The Voice of Spurs on Twitter. The question from Byron is, favourite ever player song and why?
My favourite ever player song?
Yeah.
I went to one of my mates in the band I was in ages ago. We went to a Leicester game to up to see him, and I'll never forget the Leicester fans singing. A squirrel had come onto the pitch, and they started singing "There's Only One Luis Suarez," and I just could not believe that. It was so quick, like it was literally like that, and the fans within 5 seconds were singing that. So that, because I was there at that moment, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Fair enough. Jack says, how special is it to you when the fans start singing some of your songs?
Yeah, like it's not. It's, do you know what? It's again, like I said, it takes a lot for me to be quiet, but it's not even. I can't describe it. Just can't describe it. Like I've done so much in music that I'm proud of before I even started doing stuff with Tottenham. We was touring with Kasabian, with Prodigy, like done big stadium stuff, and it was amazing fun, but nothing will ever compare to Tottenham fans, because I'm Tottenham above literally everything. Like it's nothing even comes close. So yeah, it's one of them things that in my life that I don't think I'll ever put words to it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely love that. From you, Ray says, I like this question from Ray. Ray says, which Spurs players would you most like to do a duet with?
Madison.
James Madison. Good question, right?
Yeah. As long as he pays for me roast dinner.
I love it. James Madison, he's an amazing player, great guy, great sense of humour. Is everything we want at the club right now. And last but not least, Thomas. Big up if you are listening, Thomas. I do believe you are. Thomas says, "Wow, I absolutely love your music, James. This is a bit off topic, but do you play on all match days before and after the stadium, and whereabouts in the stadium?" You kind of question's already been asked, but if you want to quickly answer that.
Yeah, I do. At the moment, it's every game, and they rotate me from level 5 to level 1 in the East stands. But yeah, thank you, mate.
Yeah, good question, Thomas. And the last bit of the question from Thomas says, "What position would you like us to get more depth in January? Any ideas? Who?"
Centre back, but yeah, I don't really know who's out there for a decent price at the minute. I don't know, but it's definitely centre back. That's that massive drop down from who we've got in the squad to who we've got is just way too big. I think
Can I put a name out there for a strong third centre back, someone who Barney will relate to, who's been isolated at the moment out of the Fulham squad? That is Tosin Adebayo. I think we could have gone for.
Yeah.
Someone let him, he goes for, was he go for free? Was it January or in the summer? So there you go. It's for free, a strong third centre back, but for me. But that is all the questions put forward for James and for the panel. So thank you very much for that. It's been an excellent episode. Yeah, thank you all in the chat. But now I'm going to go around one by one and ask where we can find these lovely people. Travis, thank you very much for coming on another episode of the podcast. Pretty much a regular now. Where can people find you for people who don't know?
Yeah, thank you for having me on again, Harry. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you all, especially you, Mr. James Black. Absolute pleasure. Well done for all you do. Absolutely fantastic what you do for our club.
Absolutely.
Also, Harry, a big shout out for what you put onto Twitter this morning in regards to autism and neurodiversity. Absolutely huge what you do. You deserve all the recognition in the world, and I hope you go places with it. I really do. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at officialcaster.
Oh, very kind of you, Travis. That's made my day. Thank you very much for that. Go check Travis out on all socials. There you go. Pav, Paxton Road TV. Yeah, it's great to have you on once again. I think pretty much a regular on the show now, which is absolutely a privilege. Yeah, talk to me about where people can find you.
Well, thanks for having me on again, Harry. Always a pleasure. You can find me on Twitter, PavJoe, and also you can find me on Paxton Road TV. I'm there all the time on YouTube.
Absolutely love it. And I mean, Pav, the first few times I had her on, it would never turn up on time. So that habit seems to be broken. Or is it 2 or 3 in a row that you've turned up on time? So absolutely love it. Long may that continue as well. I mean, there must be something to do with Spurs. Spurs top of the league, Pav turning up on time. That's all I can ask for. Chris, nice to have you on the show. Second week in a row. So yeah, talk to me about not only where people can find you, but talk to me about Let's Talk Tottenham and Chris's Magic, 2 fantastic channels.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks so much for having me on again. Great to speak to you again, Pav, and meet you, Travis and James as well. Let's Talk Tottenham on YouTube. Having a break from the streams at the moment, so it's just shorts at the moment.
No worries.
Before the game, during the game, after the game, news in between games, and yeah, Chris's Magic, just a little side project to make sure I keep it up and don't get bored and stop it. But yeah, that's on YouTube as well at 7:30 p.m. Every Wednesday. Something drops there, whether it's a trick or a tutorial. But yeah,
can you imagine to win the league? Is that possible?
I'm very much an amateur, so I'm not that good, I'm afraid.
Hopefully come the end of the season. Love it.
Well, if you do win the league, I'll take credit for it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll give you credit on here. No worries. James, thank you for coming on your first time on the show. Of course, hope you enjoyed it. You know, you're more than welcome back. Absolutely, it'd be great to have you on again if you want to come back. Of course, if you don't, then I do apologise. About where people can find you.
Thanks, man. I mean, you're a naturalist, Harry, and I'm the same as what Travis was saying. Amazing work you're doing. Big fan of what you're doing, mate, and keep it up. And thanks for having me on. It's a privilege to be on here, man. And yeah, I'll come back definitely. But yeah, Voice of Spurs on all social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's all under the Voice of Spurs. And yeah, thanks, Harry. And good to meet you all, guys. Fantastic.
Fantastic. It's a privilege. It's all mine, James. But yeah, if you want to follow me, you can there, Harry Scarf 22. I've got Football Content Awards finals coming up 16th of November. Yeah, at the moment you can subscribe to the channel. Obviously, that'd be fantastic. If you like what you're seeing, hit the like button, turn the notifications bell on. We're now on Amazon Music and Spotify as well. So if you're listening on there, absolutely fantastic, because lots of people do now. Don't forget to give us a follow and 5-star review. That'd be massively appreciated. Top of the league. Sorry, Barney, but let's rip Fulham to pieces. Let's win and let's retain top of the league. But we're going to end with something a little bit different. We've already done it, but I'm absolutely loving it. We're going to end with I'm loving Big Ange instead. But as we always say, on the channel and on the podcast, up the Spurs.
Running through my head, Pochettino is dead.